Hi and welcome to another 486 upgrade video. I am Tim, this is the Geek Jobber channel, and we're going to try and get this little sucker online. And not via the old traditional dial-up. I'll grab it off the desk. We have one SMC 10 megabit network card that we're going to try and use to connect to the network I've got running in my home, see if I can get this thing behaving itself, and see if we can get this online using a modern internet connection. So I'll take a quick cut here, get this into the machine, and see if we can get this sucker going. Okay, so step one is complete. I've got the actual network card in the machine. I've managed to track down some old setup utilities for DOS. Luckily, these things still exist. So let's go onto our A drive and have a look at what's on there. Okay, so being an SMC card, the first thing we should probably check is the configuration. So with this SMC card, it's got a cute little setup program. So we'll go into the hardware configuration and view the current configuration. So yeah, we have it picking up the card, which is a good first start. So we're running in jumperless and it's auto-detecting the network connection type. Full duplex is disabled. We probably want to disable that. Not a huge difference here, but it might make a little bit of a performance improvement. So let's just jump in and update that. So that's got that set to enabled. The rest all looks fine. So a little side note, this is something you have to think about before plug and play. So we have interrupt 10. So you have 16 different interrupt channels on the actual machine itself under DOS on these older machines. And you can't have two devices use the same request line at the same time, otherwise you're going to run into random problems. So I think the next step is to just jump in and check whether there's anything else using it and see if we need to change it. So yes, we want to update the card. We want to exit the setup. Let's exit that again. Now the good thing is the newer versions of DOS use this MSD utility, which is actually really good. We can jump in here, check the IRQ status. We have 10 reserved. That generally means it's actually free, so we've got no other hardware set up on IRQ 10. We are safe. So what we'll do here, we'll load Windows. Now, I know there are plenty of people that want to set up networking under DOS, and for some reason the contrast has got a bit silly. Let's see if we can, that's a bit better. So some people like setting this up under DOS. I don't really need to have this set up under DOS. I just want this set up under Windows so we can use things like Netscape and other Windows utilities to get onto the internet. So DOS stuff is not really important to me. So let's see if we can coax this into working in Windows. So on Windows for Workgroups, it's all done through this Windows Setup utility. And we can come in and change the network utilities. Now you can come in here. At the moment there are no networks actually set up. In this case we just need the Microsoft Windows network, and if we needed to, there are a couple of other networks it supports in here, sort of the usual 90s spattering of network setups, but we don't really need this here. We just need Windows network. And coming to the network drivers, let's see if we hit the magic detect button. See, Windows 3.11 had very limited plug and play for some things. Network cards was one of them. It's picked up an NE2000 compatible network card. So one of the reasons why I got this particular card was because it was NE2000 compatible, which means it'll be usable with just about anything from this era that I throw at it. So NE2000, one of the common cards. So let's install the driver. And we checked earlier, it's on interrupt 10. So this is why it's good to check this stuff beforehand. And so let's at least get this working first. Let's see if this actually complains. We need to do a few things afterwards to set this up properly, but we'll see if we can get this working first. So it's having a good old think about installing the network stuff. The good old waiting for things to install. So now we get to restart the computer. Windows has detected that you've moved your mouse. Please restart your computer for these changes to take effect. So now we just reboot Windows, or restart Windows. It's trying. We'll just cheat and use no password. Not really a difference on this network. Basically that dialog box there, if you were using something like a domain controller running Windows NT, you'd obviously set up a username and password there. Those are the details it would use to connect to the domain controller. At this point, we're just using this for internet access, so we don't really need to worry about that. So far, things are looking good. So next up, I've already downloaded and put onto the hard drive TCP/IP for Windows for Workgroups. So there is a package that you can get. I'll link to it in the description that you can use to add TCP/IP to Windows for Workgroups 3.11. So we now just need to go in and install that. So again, we come into Windows Setup, open the network settings. we need to mess about with a few things here. So we need to add a protocol, and it's an unlisted protocol because it's not one that came with Windows. It's not any of those. So this is where I put it. And here we have Microsoft TCP/IP. Again, we're waiting for Windows to install things. To save confusion, we don't need IPX, we don't need NetBEUI, and we just want TCP/IP as the default protocol. So let's close that. And in this case, because I'm connecting this to a router that does DHCP, so we can actually enable that here. It's not a complete DHCP implementation, it only gives us the address. So we need to give a default gateway. We want to leave Wins blank. So Wins was Microsoft's attempt to do something equivalent to DNS. You don't need to worry about that. Nobody in their right mind ever did stuff with Wins. We all used DNS. So we now just need to click on the DNS and add my router as a DNS server. So that's our TCP configuration complete. Yep, so it's done all that. Again, Microsoft has detected that you've moved your mouse. Please restart this computer for these changes to take effect. Yeah, anything before Windows NT and you spent a lot of time waiting for computers to reboot when you change things. Okay, so we have a couple of TCP/IP utilities, nothing to write home about. We probably won't be using many of them, but we have Netscape. So Netscape's a bit slow to start up on this machine. It's trying. I think I can. Now this is an older version of Netscape, so it's Netscape version 2. And okay, this is the default homepage. The reason I'm using Netscape 2 is because this machine currently only has 8 megabytes of RAM. I could use Netscape 4, but that prefers having at least 16. So that website might not exist, so let's try something a little different. It's connecting. It's trying. Waiting for a reply, so it's slow. Okay, so we're getting JavaScript errors, so it's trying to do something at least. Yeah, using old browsers with modern websites is it's choking. It's trying to do something, but it's obviously not liking the modern website. Yeah, it is really choking with the Google website. So that was kind of expected. I'm going to do a quick cut here and have a look at something. So I should be back in a moment, but hopefully we'll have better results in a moment. Okay, and I'm back. So what we learned there was that very old versions of Netscape choke when accessing the Google website. So we know that the internet sort of works, but yeah, it just falls apart when accessing the modern internet. So I'm going to give you a taste of another future episode. I've already tested this and this works. There is a search engine specifically designed for vintage browsers that I'm sure almost nobody will have heard of, but I managed to uncover it in my travels. So that's what we're going to test out now. So we just have to do the racing game for Netscape. And it's going to complain again because it's accessing a home page that no longer exists. So we'll go to www.wiby.me. And it's loading slowly, but we managed to get there. So yes, we now have this machine online. It's technically connected to a modern internet connection using a modern fiber to the node connection. Well, I say modern, it's a lot more modern than what was available when these machines were around. So excellent, we have got working internet. So watch out for future episodes because I will be playing with the search engine a little bit more just to show off what the internet looked like in the 1990s. But for now, if you want to support the channel, head down into the description. There are links there to the website, there are links to the Discord, and you know what to do with that subscribe button and that bell notification, so I don't need to tell you how to use it. So I'll see you in the next episode.